Ah, sleep. Don't we love it? But it's often the first thing to alter when something new is happening in your life. And often we blame stress, and stress often is the blame, but we are awesome by design. Our stress response is really amazing. Our bodies are designed to deal with stress, and stress really is just a sign that something new is around, and our bodies are making us hyper aware, giving us more energy to deal with this new situation. Cortisol's released, and our bodies don't want us to sleep if there's going to be a risk to our life, so it tries to keep us awake. Good if we need to, but not so good if we're between a late early and you have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. But I just want you to really get that sleep isn't stress isn't really the bad guy at all, because we are awesome. Our bodies are amazing, and we're going to learn in this short video how to deal with it. So shift workers, we know they get a little bit less sleep than everybody else. And we know that sleep deprivation can affect your mood, your health, and your work safety. And I've certainly seen just by improving sleep, anxiety's been reduced dramatically. So here's just the DSM-5 definition of insomnia disorder. It's important to know that the sleep problem can occur. To be diagnosed with a sleep problem, you have to have it at least 3 nights a week, and it's been going on for 3 months. Usually this isn't the case with a lot of the transient sleeplessness that you guys are getting, which may be problems falling asleep, staying asleep, or early morning awakenings. But what usually happens is there's a bit of a tug of war going on that doesn't really help your sleep patterns. So when you're awake, you try as hard as you can to increase performance, your mood, and to stay alert and awake. So you have coffee, do lots of activity, loud music, noise. But when you want to go to sleep, you're trying to do the opposite. You want to wind down. Sometimes people drink alcohol to calm down, take sleeping tablets, and that sort of thing. So there's often this tug of war going on. So let's just look at a cycle that I put together. This is from research on sleep. Often we're tired, frustrated, and stressed with not sleeping. So we're stressed in the first place, then we get tired and frustrated because we start to worry about how we're going to be performing the next day. Then while we're in bed, we keep checking the clock. Our cortisol rises. We think, oh my God, it's been 2 hours and I haven't gone to sleep yet, or whatever it is. And then that increases our cortisol, and we keep waking up. And sometimes we use more alcohol to make us fall asleep. But then what alcohol does, it increases the adrenaline in our body. It can get us to sleep quickly, but when it wears off, it'll make us wake up overnight, and the quality of sleep isn't best. So alcohol long term isn't a great strategy, even though it feels like it is at the time. And then when we get anxiety during the day, we dread and we overthink going to sleep that night. We make a bigger deal out of it because we're tired. It's harder to respond and think really clearly when you're tired. That prefrontal cortex, you don't fire as quickly up there, you don't learn as well, and we can blow things out of proportion. That is for sure. So this is a cognitive behavioral model of insomnia. Now, we've got this up because it shows us again the cycle of what can happen. It's useful to see because often the way in is the way out, meaning that when we can understand how insomnia happens in the first place, we can change that aspect to get back to an easy restorative sleep again. And isn't it the case when we're lying in bed, we can make things seem a bit worse? The problems seem to be amplified. Remember this maybe tonight if you're lying in bed and those worst case scenarios pop into your mind. I know that they seem so real, but just name it as your brain magnifying it. And I think there's some research around because there's some alpha brain waves going around, and that's when we're a bit more suggestible. We believe these magnified worries. The other thing we can take from this model is that you can trigger transient sleep issues with your unresolved emotions, thoughts, or even your physiology. And lastly, I think it's really good to acknowledge that we can have unrealistic expectations, and it can be normal to have some sleepless nights and disruption to our pattern, and we can easily get back into a good sleep routine again. But again, it's the lack of sleep that distorts our thinking that makes it seem worse than it is. So it's normal to have a disruption from time to time, just like it is with any other aspect of our health. And you can just take some simple remedies to get back on track again, and that's what we're going to do. So sleep hygiene is when we're making up a routine for getting back to sleep. So these are like hints to get, it's like a tip sheet for getting to sleep. The first thing is to make a routine. So a cup of something relaxing, have a shower, that'll relax your body. Read something that's not stimulating, because remember, we're starting to slow our mind down. Don't have caffeine, past middle of the day if you can. Don't go to bed hungry or over full. Avoid, typo there, too much alcohol late in the evening. Don't have too much drinks later in the evening either, otherwise you have to hop up and go to the loo. Avoid smoking, again that's a stimulant, just before going to bed. And make sure the bedroom is quiet and dark and really comfy with the temperature. And something that a lot of people find useful is getting some magnesium. That can be as a supplement that helps relax your muscles and get you off to sleep, calm your mind down a lot. Another thing you can do to help your circadian rhythm is to get some sunlight in the morning or at lunchtime. This is what some of the sleep doctors that I've worked with have said to do, because it triggers that it's daytime, in your pineal gland and your hypothalamus, and it can help with alertness during the day and resetting your body clock after you've been on nights or you've had a restless night's sleep, so your body acknowledges it's daytime. So this is a really good thing to do. Just go outside and get some sunlight. So these are things you can do to stop the cycle of sleeplessness. Is don't use your bed for anything except sleep. No worry in bed. You can have sex, of course. These are some protocols about what to do if you don't fall asleep within 15 to 20 minutes. They want you to get up and go to another room, or if you wake up overnight, do that. And they don't want you to watch the clock. You can pause this and read this yourself now. I'm not going to read through it, but it can be quite useful. Another thing you can do is relaxation training, which will calm your mind and again tell your brain everything's safe, everything's good, it's safe to go to sleep. Diaphragmatic breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, using some nice imagery or sleep hypnosis. There's a Calm app that I use, and there's a free and a paid version. And on it there's a thing called sleep stories, which is sort of boring stories that people talk about but in a lovely sleepy voice. And there's the Calm app also has some nice relaxations on it as well that you can. Another thing to do is get to the root of the problem, is why your stress response has been turned on. Is it your confidence level? Are you telling yourself you can't do something? Are you overwhelmed? What are you saying to yourself? I'm asking you now, have you got a clear self-care plan? If not, please do. Try and problem solve with somebody why you're overwhelmed. Maybe get a counsellor, coach, or friend, and try to get to the root of problem, what's causing you the stress. The other thing is the power of words, images, and feeling. I'd like you to pause now and read through these, and you can say them when you're lying in bed. They can be quite lovely, and they can turn the stress response off. Say them out loud. You might be surprised how you feel. So the next thing is to do is make relaxation be your goal to try to get to sleep. Try to make yourself relaxed. Allow yourself to be relaxed, because it's easy to get to sleep when you're relaxed. And even if you just relax and you don't get as much sleep as you'd like, your day tomorrow is going to be better. Pause now and read my top tips and see which ones would suit you. Good night.